Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to Bitcoin Daily, 9 a.m. Central European Time on the dollar. We do the show every day, Monday to Friday, because we gotta know what's happening with Bitcoin, altcoins, and everything else. And of course, guys, we gotta look at a little bit about the stock market, DXY, what's happening in the news. Not so much, but they are being very, very bearish, so that's actually good for us. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. How's everybody doing in the chat? Dutch Ring Racing is first in here today. Maybe he's in a little bit in fear, maybe he's not, I don't know. Usually when people are in fear, people come to my channel. When people are in euphoria, people come to my channel. Anything in between, they don't care. You know, that's how life works. How's everybody doing? Gordon is in chat. Good morning. M21 Photo. Dobro jutro. How you doing, man? That Knock Life. What's up? Edward is in chat. Morning, man. Mladen is in chat. That Knock Life. I bought 225 quant at 45 on my genius paper and sold for a huge profit of 55. For a couple other times and made some other money. Should have just rode it to 200 plus. Stuff happens, man. Stuff happens. But you know, no fear. But you know what they say, man. There is a saying that I don't know which guy there was who said this, but you know, it's a rich, some kind of billionaire rich guy. Said like, you know, I made my money by selling early. You know, and there is also a lot of truth in that. Profits are profits, right? You never know. Sometimes you don't know when tough is, but as long as you sell in profits, is good, you know. And you know, this billionaire says like, you know, I made my money by selling early. So there is that. 21 this week. Segar Kate is in the chat. How you doing, man? Impatient, yes. Impatient, yeah. I think we all are very, very impatient because right now, you know, not much is happening. This is some kind of 5-minute chart over here. You know, we've been watching this channel up here that broke towards upside, which is very nice. And right now, to tell you the truth, it does look okay. I don't think, you know, immediate dump is gonna happen because over here we are climbing in some moving averages. But you've seen what's happening down here on the bottom down here. You know, I've been very, very, very bearish over here, and I was thought this is gonna dump towards downside. And even during the news down here, I was expecting, you know, some kind of movement towards downside. If that did break towards downside, this would have actually gone towards downside. But on CP News, we have been having the live stream, and we've been watching how this actually played out, and we saw that there was a lot of support kicking in around 18.6 down here. This support held so well that this bounced all the way up to, you know, 20k up here towards downside. Right now it's pulled back a little bit towards downside. Over here back down to, you know, 19k. I even made a video, you know, next target 17.6k. That it was very, very probable, but it is not playing out, which is actually very, very good for us. So the target about 17.6 comes out from this head and shoulders pattern. If you haven't watched the video, basically the head and shoulders pattern, if it was to break on the downside down over here, this would mean that we are going down to 17.6. This is pretty you know, standard stuff. There is a very nice head and shoulders pattern over here, and you can see here from the top to the target down here over here, from the top to the target is at 70.5, depends on how you draw it. And if you see down here as well, there is, you know, we are hitting the same bottom down here on the side. So this was and still is very, very probable to happen. But the fact that we are bouncing over here very nicely, right now we are above this 10 moving average up here on the daily time frame, tells me that there is a chance that we won't actually go to 17.6 on the downside, because this looks like it's gonna get invalidated. And that's the kind of stuff that you see all the time on the charts. Any kind of pattern can be invalidated, any kind of pattern can, you know, fall through, and we actually don't know. Just because we got some kind of, you know, head and shoulders pattern on the chart doesn't mean that it has to play out. You know, it's 100% certain. There is no such thing as 100% certainties. If the support holds, support holds. If it fails, it fails. This time support did hold over here at 19k. We had a lot of, you know, trading over here, and then once we bounced. Yesterday I was a little bit too hopeful that we might even break the very important level up here at the top. That's at 19.3. 83.85, give or take, because this would have created a double bottom down here. So if we had managed to stay above the line up here yesterday, this would already be double bottom. We still don't have the double bottom on the chart yet over here, but if we can manage to pull through today above this resistance over here, technically this is a double bottom, and technically, you know, technically the target is from the bottom to the to some kind of top up here. You know, if you extend it, the next target, if we create the double bottom, the first target is 19.7. Now it's not very high up here at 20k or something like that. But at least we are getting a higher high up here on the chart, which could be very, very good for us. So it looks nice. Now also the thing to notice down here on these three bottoms, we are actually having a higher highs all over the place. Not on, this is a Bitfinex chart, so we won't look at the chart that are not that bullish. This over here is Binance chart, and you can see on Binance chart, if you zoom really nicely in, that this bottom down here and this bottom is higher, so we are technically going towards the upside here, and this bottom over this bottom is technically higher, so we are still having, you know, bottoms going higher towards the upside, which is actually, you know, a bullish trend towards the upside, which is actually very nice. So even though we are holding the support down here, we are getting slightly, you know, slightly higher lows up here on the chart. And that's actually quite bullish. That's actually quite bullish. So this can, of course, for whatever reason, break on the downside and stuff like that. But you can also see bullish engulfing candle, no bullish, bearish engulfing candle over here. It does look a little bit bullish just when you look at the candles over here. So what we are looking for right now is, you know, getting above 17.375. Actually, this on Binance. 375. If you can manage to get above that today, tomorrow, something like that, that's gonna create a double bottom down here on the chart on this pattern up here, and we are gonna go to 19.7, at least 19.7 before something else, because, you know, that's some kind of technical target on the chart. Bro, can I say you super chat to take a look at and give you quick analysis of 3 different charts? I can look, you don't have to give me super chat, man, it's okay. You can just tell me which charts to look at. The blue dot guy feeling blue. You can just tell me which charts to look at. I'll look at it after we are done looking at everything else. It's okay, man. I like you. You're a TF Fans Club member. You get everything, man. You get everything. So let's look at a little bit more about it. So this actually looks okay. It's not that, you know, when you look on the daily time frame, we're still not out of this range on the downside down here. But it doesn't look that terrible. It doesn't look that terrible. That's what I tried to say. So it's not like today we're gonna get a big dump. Over here we could have gotten a big dump down here. That's why I was a little bit worried up here that we could have gotten a bigger dump. You know, breaking the support. We would have gotten a bounce towards the upside because this has been going down rallying for a long time. So the worst case scenario right now is that we fail to break the, you know, double bottom down here towards the upside. We go back below these lows on the downside down here. That will be the worst case scenario, because right now we are, after this move towards downside, we are right now consolidating. It's after the consolidation that, you know, the big moves can actually happen, because once you have a big move down here, you know, you're not getting the big move. You could fall through and then be in a, you know, down here, and then go to consolidation and fall even further towards downside. This is actually the scenario that I was actually fearing is going to happen. We did not do that, but, you know, right now that we are going into this consolidation time frame up here, I'm looking at, you know, these two levels right now for a break towards upside or downside, and how this actually gonna look at. So, you know, above, you know, towards the upside, I would say on the daily time frame, gotta get above 19,375, and if you start falling below 1957, 19k give or take, and start closing down there on the daily time frame, it might start looking bad for us, because right now we are going through the consolidation phase. It's only after consolidation phases when the price and the indicators are starting, you know, to consolidate a little bit and adjusting to that that level, that we get big moves towards the upside or downside. So right now the big moves can actually start happening, and that's what we are looking for. But we are in no way, shape or form very bearish right now. Let's pop some moving averages up here on the chart. We got also the weekly close. Let's see how weekly close did actually over here. What you're gonna see on the weekly close, we did not, we still have these two green candles up here towards the upside. We had this red candle. Right now we're pulling still on downside. We still have these moving averages above us pushing us towards downside, so this can definitely, you know, you can see up here 18.8 on the weekly time frame. We start breaking this towards a low down here without any kind of divergence. This can definitely pull us more towards downside, so we are not out of the dump yet. If you look at the indicators down here, The RSI right now is sitting at 34. On this move down here, it was at 26 or something like that. So we are not, we definitely, if we go towards downside, we have room. I mean, we're not gonna get overextend or anything like that. Even my indicator down here, the overextension indicator, like over here, these you know, super overextend levels, we are not quite there yet. You know, we have been consolidating up here, and right now you can see that it is very, very close to zero. So we can definitely fall down if we do fall down. So I'm not saying that we cannot fall down, but you know, by any kind of means, by any kind of technical analysis, we are at the bottom, right? But we don't know what's happening in the world, you know, whether the world is going to, you know, shitters or not. So if it doesn't go, you know, because this should technically just break towards the upside. You know, everything looks you know, okay on this up here. Even this move towards the upside above the 10 moving average, then falling back, getting rejected again up here right now, getting pushed down, but it's getting pushed down towards a support down here. There's a huge support. So eventually this 10 and 20 needs to break towards the upside, and once this happens, we're gonna get a big rally towards the upside, because it's gonna break big major levels. And then once on the you get on the daily above right now, what's the level on daily that we are looking at right now? This 20 moving average, exactly at 21k. So as soon as we get above 21k up here, and this level is going to go lower and lower as the weeks go by. As soon as that happens, there will be a you know, bigger rally towards the upside, and I'm thinking, you know, at least up to the previous tops up here or something like that. That rally might actually go, but we still don't know. We are still technically in a downtrend, and we haven't actually broken anything you know, very important. Like over here, if you look at on the weekly time frame up here, you'll see this trend line. Just this, you know, just this downtrend over here is still not broken. It still can, you know, fall towards downside and stuff like that, right? The trend is, you know, the trend is your friend until the trend stops singing, and when the trend stops singing and the musical instruments, you know, stops happening, then we break the trend over here towards the upside, right? So the 10 moving average is important for the breaking the trend, because you can see the trend and the 10 moving average are exactly at the same spot up here right now, and the trend, if we want to break it this week, is at 19.8. So that's the question, where we're gonna break that towards the upside. So if you can break the trend over here, there is a good probability that we might actually go above 21k as well, and if you do that, that's gonna be very, very nice. But I'm still looking at this 18.8, and on the daily time frame down here at you know, short term up here below this double bottom down here at 19,000. So, you know, we start breaking these two lows on the downside, stuff like that, maybe even this low down here at 18.4, depends. You know, we can definitely see more you know, more move towards downside, but I don't want to go over it. But there is a lot of technicals right now that telling us this is by all means some kind of bottom, and if the world wasn't in this much panic and worried, we wouldn't be having this discussion at all. Like, this discussion wasn't you know, it wasn't even an option in 2018 when we were at the bottom. I mean, there was people, it was very bearish moments, because people are always calling for 1k and 200k and, you know, 2k and all the low levels. You know, we gotta go there, we gotta have capitulation, you know, and that just never happened. But, you know, you know, we didn't talk about, you know, world being, you know, what the world is right now, right? So it is a little bit different times. Beside that, it does look okay, and this should, you know, I'm still, you know, more bullish than bearish up here until we start actually losing certain levels. Once we start losing levels, you know, it's pretty much game over. It's pretty much game over, and then we might actually see big, you know, bigger moves towards the downside. But once these bigger moves, you gotta ask yourself, like, how much down are you gonna go? What's gonna happen? We're gonna stay here at 15, then go down to 13, then go down to 10. Like, how is this gonna play out? We don't actually know. We don't actually know. But, you know, it might be also that we go down and then, you know, bounce towards the upside, whatever, right? So there is that. Look at that rounded bottom on the daily. Yeah, over here, yeah, it does look like, I mean, by all means, it is kind of you know, bullish. If you look at this up here, it goes up here, down here, you know, it's doing these big moves towards downside up here, and right now it's holding this level. So, you know, the questions, you can see these rounded tops up here. I mean, this is inverted chart, and these rounded tops, by, you know, any kind of analysis, that that Mladen has been doing on rounded tops and rounded bottoms, this should be actually very bearish, a bearish move. We also been talking that this, you know, these two mountains on an upsloping up here is actually very bearish. So if you have some chart that looks like this in some kind of uptrend, that's not inverted normal chart, and you see some kind of, you know, these two, you know, rounded mountains on an upsloping chart, this is actually a very bearish move, right? This is actually very bearish. And this is like the third top up here, so you know, it's really hard for me to look at you know, another top up here and that we're gonna break on the downside. And if you break towards the upside, this looks like it might actually just, you know, have some kind of wick and then go into the other direction. But this is actually a very bearish bearish pattern that actually, you know, rolls over and breaks on the downside. So we got this very important trend line over here that needs to be broken, and as soon as the trend line is broken, and that trend line is going to be broken above 19.8 on the daily time frame, as once that's done, you know, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine, guys. So we still gonna look at that. Now in the small time frames, it does actually look very, very bullish. It's actually started yesterday, and I'm gonna show you the pattern that's actually that I feel it's actually very bullish. This on the 4-hourly time frame, you can see here that we started going from the bottom down here, slowly climbing above the 10 moving average. Let me zoom in this a little bit more for you. And you can see here we had a big move up here towards upside, all the way up to the 200 moving average on the 4-hourly time frame, where we hit some kind of top up here at 19.4, and then we pull back, but we pull back only to the 10 moving average. Not only that, bullish engulfing candle right back above all of the moving average. Right now we have a pullback back into the moving averages. You can see these 3 moving average ups down here. So this move up here, where we get a higher high up here after a big move towards downside, we are still holding above this the resistance up here. This looks actually very bullish. So small time frames on the 4-hourly does give me, you know, does give me goosebumps that we are actually gonna break this towards the upside. Because I've seen a lot of these kind of moves where you know, you go to slowly climbing up, then you have a big move towards the upside, you know, big fat move towards downside, then, you know, continue climbing up here, and once you break above 19.37, again 19.37 up here at the top, this is the top that we are talking about, right? And as you know, you start climbing up slowly up here, and once you break 19.3 or something like that, right, you have a big move towards upside. So this actually, you know, on small time frames, that do look indeed very, very bullish to me. So yeah, no problem with Bitcoin right now. It does look bullish on the small time frames. Big time frames, we got a certain level that we gotta get above, but we also know what's gonna, you know, what needs to happen for us to be bearish. We are not bearish, we are bullish, no problem. Like, you know, bearish times will come, and we will become bearish at one point, but it's not today. It's not today. DXY, the dollar index, is pulling back towards downside a little bit up here. There is a lot of line on the chart. Let me just clean up these 5-minute charts up here, 5-minute chart lines up here on the chart. We can actually keep this one up here. You can see this had, you know, some kind of round top here that fell down. If you remember, this was some kind of a rising wedge up here. There was some kind of rising wedge up here, and outside of when this rising wedge started happening up here towards upside, we said this needs to fall down to 3 levels. This was the first level down here, the second level was down here, the second level was down here, and the third level was all the way down here at the bottom, right? So these were the third levels that I actually thought that we might actually go towards downside before bouncing. 1, 2, 3 levels, and you can see here we came to this first level down here, and we bounced. Now the good thing is that we did not bounce above this you know, resistance line at top up here. So we bounced, we came to the resistance, right now we are pulling back. So as long as we keep below the resistance up here at 113 point something, I don't know what this is, this has good chance to you know, to fall down and then, you know, start dropping on the downside, and maybe even go below the previous level, because this is some kind of rounded top up here, or that did this big fast move up here, then try to break the resistance up here on the, because oftentimes you'll see these kind of moves, not just not just up here, but, you know, everywhere. There is some kind of resistance line, some kind of support line, you will break that support, you will gather a lot of, you know, bullishness, and you will try to break the resistance. Now the fact that the resistance is actually failing to be broken on this move towards upside, right now we're pulling, maybe you're gonna try for a second time or even third time to break the resistance. But if the resistance right now, here's the thing, if the resistance fails to be broken, that means that you know, the bears are you know, pushing the resistance and holding the resistance very well, and that bulls are actually losing steam. So if you bulls are losing steam and the resistance holds up here, the probability is that this is going to go for the second time below the trend line over here, the second time you know, again maybe let's say the the third time below the resistance down here on the downside, and you can see also this resistance on the downside right now is corresponding very nicely with this this line, this big long trend line over here. So if everything breaks right now over here at this top up here, and we start breaking on the downside, that's actually a good thing. So how long is this gonna take? This on the 4-hourly chart, so it's this 79. Yeah, in next 2-3 days, we're gonna know whether this is actually breaking on the downside or is this actually breaking towards the upside. So there is no actually big movements on the Bitcoin chart yet. They're slowly climbing towards the upside, and you'll see that stock markets are also performing okay right now. But I think everybody's waiting to see whether this resistance line here on the XY is going to break towards the upside, because that's a very important level to break. And if you can actually manage to break that towards the upside, it's going to be very, very bad for Bitcoin. So we're going to know. But on the other hand, if it doesn't, if the resistance hold, it's gonna be good stuff to come. Now, last thing we're gonna look at when it comes to charts is how the S&P 500, Dow Jones and Nasdaq are doing. The stock markets, the three indexes we are following very closely to see how they are doing. This was the CPI numbers, went down right back up again. I think Mladen said that on the S&P this was the biggest daily candle ever in the history in S&P. I don't know where he got that from, but maybe that's the case. And you can see here we pull back, but we pull back in a higher low motion. Also we did hold the support again. So even though we pulled big time towards the upside, this was some kind of retest of the support, and right now we're bouncing. We're still below the moving averages and stuff like that. But it doesn't look that bad yet. I mean, the support is still holding on the downside after this move, and we gotta see some kind of follow through. But it's just the same thing like Bitcoin is doing, right? Bitcoin also has some kind of whether this is this line or this line, you know, it kind of a little bit depends. Maybe it's all the way down here, because these stops up here are very nice. Maybe the line goes something like this. So you know, we still need to break certain levels to be outside of this dump over here. So we are not quite there yet, but it does not look that bad. I just looked at every green pedal in the past. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, but I believe you, man. I believe your eyes, and we're gonna call it the biggest green candle in the history of an S&P. So this looks okay, you know, it doesn't look that bad. We're still holding the support, we bounce, we got a higher high, you know, everything looks, you know, okay. When it comes to Dow Jones, the same thing is happening over here. We pump big time on CPI numbers. We did not even come down to support, we came down to certain moving averages up here. This might roll over towards support again. I mean, it's gonna take a while before we actually, you know, break this towards downside, if that's gonna happen. And the Nasdaq over here is the only one that right now kind of lost support a little bit up here, but you'll see that right now it's coming back above the support, but I still got some kind of higher high up here after these CPI numbers on the downside. So overall, not bearish, overall not bullish, but you know, there is very good hope for a bullishness will kick in eventually once we break certain levels, and these levels are that we are following. So we are still unfortunately some kind of sideways motion right now that we are trying to get out of. Bitcoin's right now pulling back a little bit more towards these moving averages. So it's gonna be really interesting when it comes to 4-hourly time frame. The thing I don't want to do is break the support. Maybe the support is down here. I don't want to break this line. You just say it. If this goes back over here towards downside up here, it might already start looking very bad. So that might be another one of these indications that you know, Bitcoin is doing very badly. But this level comes up so much time right now, 19.6, 19.5 give or take for support down here. So we started at the downside. It's not a good feeling, right? This movement up here should hold. This on the 4-hourly time frame. 4-hourly time frame, we still got something like 3 hours left. So you can see here we had a very nice 4-hourly candle up here. Right now we are pulling back the support. If this support holds right now on the 4-hourly candles, maybe some kind of wick up here and stuff like that, and we start closing up here higher, that's gonna look very, 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 very strong and good. That's the XY, that's the markets, that's the Bitcoin. The thing that I want to say about right now when it comes to the news, I've been, you know, reading a lot about. I didn't read a lot, but you know, I did watch some newspapers, financial newspapers, and you know, mainstream newspapers, and I've seen a lot of articles about how, you know, the doom days are coming. The recession is, you know, we're gonna finally be, you know, in full effect. I mean, the recession is already, you know, technical recession, 20% down over 2 quarters, you know. that's the technical definition. At least it was forever until they you know, figure out, no, it's not the definition of recession. So recession is gonna come. So right now they are spreading fear about recession, about doomsday, about everything is gonna go down, you know, and stuff like that. And when they, and oftentimes when they do that, retail traders cannot make money. Mainstream, you know, cannot make money. Normal people cannot make money. So they are scaring normal people into selling. They are scaring normal people into fear. And when you know, normal people start selling and they're in fear, you know, you know, the price starts, you know, going opposite direction, right? So that's what I'm looking at right now. I think that's actually very good for us. The fact that the mainstream newspapers are actually talking very badly about the markets, because every time they do, the markets turns around. I'm telling you. You know, moms and pops cannot make money by watching the news. It's not how it works. Unfortunately, they need to lose money for somebody else to have money, right? Money needs to switch hands from the, you know, the guys that don't know to the guys that do know what's happening, right? So somebody gotta lose money in this game. It's not you know, it's not you know, everybody wins kind of stuff. There is a lot of losers, and these losers usually comes from the guys that don't know. It's not us that are trying to scare. We don't care about what they write and what they don't write. We care about what we look on charts and not charts, right? But you know, moms and pops will be actually losing money. That's a little bit about chat, because I see you guys are writing a little bit. Chris VM, what's up, man? Most space to upside, exactly. Max Space. Edward said max pain is sideways. You are very right, man. You are very, you know, we often talk about, you know, where is the max pain? Is it towards downside, upside? But right now, max pain is sideways. Exactly, man. Max pain is sideways. Right? Blue dot got feeling blue. Yeah, oh, nice. Okay, yeah. So which kind of coins do you want to look at that knock live? I'm gonna check your coins. That's gonna be the last thing I do today. I got some other stuff to do. I started this stream a little bit late. Good morning. DXY is tanking, not much, but you know, it is in some kind of move towards downside, which can be nice. Are there still any scared chickens who sell at these such low levels? Fall back, the chickens sell. Have a great show. Any thoughts on Polygon Matic? Polygon is doing fine, I think. Yeah, Polygon is doing fine. I mean, it's still, you know, I drew these lines yesterday, so, you know, they're still very much valid up here. You can see up here that we are right now coming to the resistance line. We are above the moving average in the 4-hourly time frame. We need to break this trend line up here towards the upside, and then to break 85. But if you can break, you know, one of those, it's going to be a little bit bullish. Both is going to be very, very bullish towards the upside. Also, don't miss physical gold and silver. How's gold and silver doing actually right now? UK oil. Sorry, let's go to the daily time frame up here. Yeah, the oil right now pulling back to the support. Hopefully it can manage to stay, hold the support and bounce back up again. A little bit unsure about that. It's doing this, you know, rounded moves on the support. So we're gonna see how this actually plays out. Gold fell a little bit towards downside up here. It had a nice rally up here above the resistance, and right now it's back below the resistance. Maybe the resistance line is a little bit, no, it is pretty much this resistance line up here. Give or take. No, there we go. It is holding the support line maybe on this line, and this move towards downside. You know, was this the 7% up here? No, this is 1%. Where is the 7% pump? Oh, this is the 7% pump. Remember when this pump came up here? It was actually 18% pump, but this last pump up here was 7%. And people are talking about gold, you know, all the time. Like, this lasts for, you know, 8 hours, and this 8% pump, and everybody, silver is the next best thing, silver, silver, silver. And people came very euphoric up here towards the upside, and then we crashed towards the downside. You don't want people to get euphoric, guys. If you want stuff to go up, you want it to go up slowly. You want it to go up very slowly. When it goes up like this, you know, you want it to go up very slow, because when stuff goes up very slowly, people don't notice how much it is actually up, right? But if it does this move towards the upside, right, it's the same move, right? But this is the same, you know, the move over time, and this is the initial move. When stuff happens, people get euphoric, right? You don't want that to happen, because when people get euphoric, there will be selling, right? There will be selling. But when stuff goes towards upside, people don't buy, people don't notice, people don't know what's happening. And by the time it's over up there, you know, then you get this big move towards upside. Then they get, you know, they start noticing, and once they start noticing, you push it towards the upside, they get euphoric, and then you sell, right? So that's why you have this that's why this pattern up here, you know, the bump and run pattern, it's a very, you know, common pattern in the chart, because you won't notice that the price is slowly rising towards the upside. It's slowly rising towards upside, towards something, right? And then at one moment, it just like, you know, when people start noticing, oh man, this thing is going towards upside, then, you know, smart money that already bought, they're like, okay, let's push towards upside. They let it ride, huge euphoria comes here, a lot of money starts following in, bad money, you know, stupid money starts following into the tops, and then it goes down, right? It's pretty much game over, then it breaks the support line, and then it goes into the, you know, so that's how, you know, one of the ways this bump and run pattern happens. Because if you want some high levels on Bitcoin, you do not want to have Bitcoin going up very, very fast towards the upside. If it goes up like this up here, this is euphoria, this is going to crash towards the downside. You don't want a fast move towards the upside. What you want is, you know, slow moves towards the upside. Something like this over here, but maybe even a little bit towards the downside and stuff like that, right? So if you look at it maybe on the daily time frame up here, you know, this is actually very nice. I mean, people are not noticing Bitcoin yet. It went up, it held the support. Maybe it's gonna go a little bit high, maybe it's gonna go down. This is very good. This is very good for it. We can climb maybe to 30k without any kind of euphoria kicking in. That's gonna be very good. Then after 30k, maybe up here, maybe we're gonna, you know, maybe we're gonna push the price up, you know, sometime like 40k up here. And after that, we get to this, you know, sell-off because people are FOMO'd in up here at 40k because it just exploded towards the upside. Then we have a move down here back to 20k, get everybody out, and then slowly again, or, you know, start rising up here towards the upside up here, and then, you know, explode towards the upside. But, you know, Bitcoin looks okay when you consider it like that. Look at the rounded bottom on daily. Why on earth would you buy a coin like Matic? It's a good coin, man. What's wrong with you? ABT. Does the chart show potential local bottom and ready to reverse to upside? Solo. Pumped crazy last 10 days, but running out of gas. And Elon. How high could retracement take us in the short term? Okay, man. Let's check out your coin. ABT. Crypto. ABT is ARC block. I think it's ARC block. Let's see ARC block on Huobi. I think Huobi is a long-term chart up here. This looks like just sideways action for a very, very long time. I don't know. This is probably some kind of, you know, altcoin that's been, you know, just, you know, even the up here. But it's not falling down below the support down here. It's not falling. Yeah, it did explode towards the upside. And you can see this explosion towards the upside. What happens? Every time you explode towards the upside up here, you know, you get a retracement, explode retracement, right? And some retracements don't come all the way to the bottom, but others, well, technically did eventually come down to the bottom. So what can you expect from this? Well, you had a big explosion up here, and you never want a big explosion because this is euphoria, and once euphoria happens, you get this towards the upside. Now, this can, of course, hold the support up here and do another move towards the upside over here, but if it starts falling, I would say below 200 moving average down here. If it starts falling below 200 moving average, then it might go a little bit more towards the downside, get some kind of bottom down here, and then go towards the upside. I'm a little bit unsure whether this follows Bitcoin. It does not look like it's following Bitcoin that well, so, you know, it might go into both direction. But right now, you know, the support here on at 200 moving average seems, you know, very plausible. Let's go a little bit higher time frames up here. Yeah, on the higher time frames, it sees this 20 moving average up here, and also the previous bottom down there. So, you know, it is on some kind of support lines up here, but it might actually bounce. But if it starts going below down here, what's that, 11.29, it might actually look bad. So yeah, you never want to find these, you know, big fast move towards the upside. So it is running out of gas on the downside, but it can definitely break. So what you need to do is, you know, go into small time frames, remove moving averages so you can see the chart very nicely. There is definitely some kind of pattern up here. Where is the move? Now this chart doesn't have that much. Let's go to 8 hourly so you can see maybe better lines up here on the chart. Maybe there is something going on up here. Some kind of falling wedge, maybe some kind of falling wedge on the chart. It's very roughly a rough falling wedge, but maybe there is some kind of falling wedge on the chart, you can see here. So right now also it went very fast up here. There is no consolidation before breakout, so it might go back down to the same kind of levels up here before it actually breaks out. So it might be some kind of falling wedge. You can check that out. And the second coin was Elon. Why do you make me Dogelon? Yeah, Dogelon. We did Dogelon before, so we can check it out. Let's look at the moving averages up here and see what Dogelon is doing right now. Well, Dogelon has this, you know, shoe pattern up here on the weekly time frame, which is very nice up here. We know that these shoe patterns are actually very bullish patterns. They don't have to be, but you know they can be very bullish patterns. Now, Dogelon is, I think it is one of these coins that pumps a lot when it pumps. So, you know, right now it's being in some kind of bottom. It might be, you know, it might be some kind of, you know, decent move. But if it starts falling below these previous lows down here, it can just, you know, continue running out of steam. But I'm a little bit unsure whether Dogelon is going to explode or not, because Dogelon is, you know, meme coin, and it all depends on, you know, the community and how much is pumped or not. But it's definitely having this, you know, shoe pattern, what we would call it up here. Kind of shoe pattern up here, and these shoe patterns are actually very bullish, so it needs to get above this 10-20 moving average. It needs to pump up here. There's probably some kind of pattern up here that's happening. I haven't checked the pattern. Let's go see down here. No, it already looks like it started climbing a little bit. Maybe you can see here that this 4-hourly trend line down here got broken with Bitcoin maybe, and right now it's climbing up here, so there is some kind of resistance up here. It can break that resistance towards upside. It's above 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame. It does look good, so this might actually pump. Maybe it does look good, but you know, technically I think it does look okay. So minimum 50 potential coins. I'm gonna do 50x on this with 10 bucks. Bullish. Time to buy at the bottom of the bear, not time to sell. Don't be a chicken. Chaco ban, always too euphoric or too bearish. Bears will lose their butts. Let me see a little bit more chat up here. Check me. I think so too. Let's have a look at XRP TLA, please. Chris wanna look at XRP. XRP had a nice euphoric move towards upside. Like already explained, you never want euphoric moves towards upside because these euphoric moves make people sell. So what happened up here is that XRP had this euphoric move towards upside. Everybody got, and you can see here this exhaustion phase right now going down here. I think XRP might actually pull back below the 200 moving average. It kind of depends. Here's the thing. These kind of moves, when you have an explosive move towards upside, then you move down. There you got still some kind of bullishness. This exhaustion pattern, and once this exhaustion, the second move towards upside comes to end, this goes down. Once it breaks the support line, it breaks down. So if it breaks support over here, now the support up here is on 200 moving average down here. So it is a good chance that it's gonna hold and bounce off of that, because any kind of pattern can, you know, both bounce to one side or break that towards the other side. So if it can manage to hold the you know, the level down here at 44 previous lows, 200 moving average, and bounce off of that above some kind of levels up here, I don't know where these levels are, maybe 10-20 moving average again, then it might just continue pumping towards the upside. That's fine. But if it starts breaking this on the downside, it might find some kind of bottom down here, right? It might go down here, consolidate and stuff like that, and then go towards the upside. And then there is probably going to be some kind of level down here that actually needs to break. But right now, the only interesting level right now is 200 moving average on the bottom over here. Solo, Solgenic. I heard about Solo, not that much, but I did hear about, yeah. So why do you talk always about these things, man? You know, how much this pump? 240. What you think is gonna happen after 240%, man? 3.4x. What you think? You think it's gonna just continue pumping another, you know, 200% towards the upside, man? I mean, it can do that, but most likely, you know, and if you look at a history of this thing up here it had a move of, you know, 140%. So this is even bigger move than this one. And after this move, look what happened, man. This was back in March, right? So this move, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't touch Sologenic, you know, just because it pumps, you know, 250%. I know people are, because look here, man, look here, down here there was, you know, people are buying, and all of these people are right now in profit. All of these people that have been buying since over here all the way down here are right now in profit. You understand that they are in profit. So if you start losing this level down here, the 200 moving average, you're gonna start eating up these guys up here, right? And these guys might start continue selling because they don't want to go into big losses and so forth, because a lot of people also over here are still in some kind of bullish mode towards upside. I'm just gonna bounce, they're gonna wait. But if it starts breaking towards downside, these first guys up here being like, I'm selling all the way down here, right? So it's, you know, this is hopium, this is realistic, right? So it can happen, the hopium can play out, but you know, there's that. I'm tempted selling at the moment for short term at least. Should crypto at least be encrypted? Should crypto be encrypted? Nah. Make no mistake, crypto physical. Oh. Yeah, man, Chakuri. So extra prima experience is difficult to trade. Lol. Hit like, boys. I didn't buy any, but my friends did, and they think it's gonna pump back to 6, and I'm like, no, the pump is over. The pump doesn't have to be over. I've seen coins do like, you know, 10x, then do 10x, then do 10x, and you're like, when is this gonna stop? You know, good example is, you know, Phantom. That thing went through the roof, through the everything. Every time I thought it's done, you know, it just continued pumping. But this was, you know, in the bull market, right? So coins can definitely, but when you're in bear market, you know, you get pumps, but you know, these pumps are very, very short-lived. Most of the times when most men are looking lower prices, Bitcoin ignores it and leaves all these people. There is that, guys. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the Bitcoin daily. Now it's time to hit the bell button. The bell button, you know, whether you subscribe or not, I really don't care. Whether you hit the like button, I don't care. I care that you hit the notifications button, the bell button, the little thing that says all ALL at the end of it. You know, that's what I care, because you're not getting notification otherwise. You know, YouTube sets 100 notifications, and first, all of these guys that, you know, have the bell button on get the notifications, nobody else get notifications. And then if YouTube figures out by some kind of algorithm that, okay, this is good stuff, they you know, send a couple more you know, notifications out. But they are definitely not sending 30,000 notifications every single time. You know, that's all I'm saying. So if you want notifications, there is the bell button. Guys, thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna see you tomorrow, same time, same place, give or take. And we're gonna hopefully Bitcoin is gonna, you know, do well. Right now it's at -0 plus 0, so there is that. Thanks for watching. John Qcoin, guys. While you can, get the gems while you can. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Bye bye.